Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I will discuss an article from Reuters that came up on March 21st, 2022. And why I chose this article is because it shows the hypocrisy of certain countries, a lack of self-awareness, um, for those leaders who are in charge of the countries, those countries. And what I'm talking about is Japan. Japan seems like a benign country, no army, no nothing. They're peaceful, they're nice people, polite, clean, and so on. Blah blah blah. That's what the culture is. But you have the leaders, so that's a different story. And those leaders are elected democratically by the public. So that's saying that each country deserves its leader. Each nation deserves its leaders. So those leaders do not come from, I'm not talking about Zelensky, but they don't come from the moon. They're part of the nation. So it's part of the nation. Now there's the worst elements in a nation. That's a different story. You guys, the nation, has to sort that out. So in this case, Japan protests Russian halt to World War II peace treaty talks. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm just going to say there's no peace treaty between Russia and Japan since the Second World War ended. Why? It is because at the end of the Second World War, the Soviet Union responded actually to Japan, who, if you look in the history, they attack here and there parts of Russia. So if you look at this, and that happened actually in Mongolia area, where even anyway in that area, and they have a history, with Tsushima in 1904, Tsushima Straits, where the Japanese sank the Tsar's navy and so on. So there's not really friendly relationship between these countries, Russia and Japan, but. So the Stalin and Soviet Union at the end of the Second World War, in the last, I don't know, month or so, they invaded how much they could at that point, part of Japan, and they conquered the Kuril Islands. They're called the Northern Territories. The other side calls them Kurils. So that's a little extension of the northern island of I think it's Hokkaido, where Sapporo is. It's an extension of the archipelago that goes northeast. And the Soviets at that time occupied a few islands, and the Japanese did not want to agree to that, and they should not. Why should they, right? But then, if we follow and agree with the international law, then because it says over there that every territory that you conquered during a war, you should give it back after the hostilities stop, something like that. But so in this case, that was the Russians conquered, attacked these guys after the war. Should have given this back, Kurils, to the Japanese. But if we are agreeing with that, then we should also agree with the occupied territories in Palestine by the Jewish state, which they didn't give back, and they expanded during the altercations, and they will never get that back. And I will talk about that in a different in a future video. So anyway, they were talking about, I'm going to give you the Koreas, I'm not going to give you the Koreas, we have to do this. So they don't have a peace treaty between these two countries. And, Japan protests Russian halt to World War II peace treaty talks. And we find here that Japan reacted angrily on Tuesday after Russia withdrew from peace treaty talks with Japan and froze joint economic projects related to the disputed Kuril Islands because of Japanese sanctions over Russian invasion of Ukraine. So what do you want? What do you want, Japan? Why did you get involved? Because you have a moral stand? You wanted to have a morally superior? So you did that, and then what Japan did? Japan went to India and promised about 50 billion of investments in India, tried to sway Modi to not support Putin. So this is what Japan did. the nice guys. But people don't know that. So Russia has a problem with this little country. Japan sanctions at orders, United States orders, sanctions Russia, goes in and tries to sway and change Modi, the Prime Minister of India's mind of support and buying Russian gas and oil from Russia by bribing him actually with about $50 billion of investments and economic blah, blah, blah. Modi doesn't get swayed with that, doesn't change his mind. The Russians, of course, know that. And now they say, you know what? You are actually, backstabbers. And now you get angry because I just withdraw from a committee of a peace treaty that we didn't have in 70 years or so? Really? 75 years or 77 years? Really? And you are angry. See how this is portrayed? I'm not saying that the Russians are good or the Japanese are good, but look at this. If you're angry, Japan, that those guys are not giving you back the territories that they occupied during a military operation, then you should be as angry with Israel. Will you be? No, you will not be. You will not be. So that tells me you're not a principled country. You're just an opportunistic country that doesn't show a lot of value, moral character here. So yeah, you can be angry how much you want. And then you are an ally with a country, which is the United States, and you're under occupation anyway in Okinawa, but nevertheless, you are allied with a country who uses your territory at will, who designated Russia as a, not an enemy, almost an enemy. I can't remember the term they used. Not the adversary. So you are on that, and you want me to be nice with you, and you can allow the Americans, my enemy, to be placing rockets on your territory. It was a discussion about a year about that. Really? I mean, you just watch Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, talking about the exact thing, questions, answers, and he talks about that when he's asked by a Japanese reporter about the same thing. He said, well, look at this. Are you our friends? Are you? If we give you Kurils that we're going to keep you strategically in check, what are you going to do with that? Give it to the Americans? Are we crazy? Because you are on the other side. You're not our friends. So just I encourage you to watch that interview, and I will. I think it was a press conference. It was a press conference. I will look for it, and if I find again, which I will, obviously, I will post it down in the description box to see how Lavrov answers this guy. So anyway, Japan can be angry how much they want. This is the reality. But again, if you have a little bit, a good memory and look back a little bit and you know stuff, at least how much you're able to know, you realize that these guys are just crooks. I'm not talking necessarily about Japan, but the way it's portrayed by the corporate media. That's even worse, because Japan can get angry. It has the right to get angry. What the mass media doesn't have the right is to lie, to twist the truth, to have an agenda. They have to report. Oh, that's angry. Okay, but can you talk about it in a complex way? I don't see a balancing report saying, hey, Japan actually have no reason to get angry because look what they did to Russia. So Russia maybe was entitled to do that. I don't see that balancing, because they will always want balance. Equity. Where is that at? It's never in these situations. They have an agenda. They march like a train on tracks. No left, no right, straight, like the agenda was already set. Stay strong, smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you in a minute. Ciao.